Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Today I wanted to do a process tutorial video featuring my superhero character Atlas for my upcoming triple threat comic book miniseries, um, and share a little bit about my process, our process um, for the illustration and how I do illustrations. Talk a little bit about the character and the project. So if you enjoy these kind of things, yeah, come check it out and. Hope you like it. Okay, I wanted to do a quick, well, not so quick, promo illustration of my character Atlas from Triple Threat. And I started working on doing a video, working on the video yesterday, but I realized that it was difficult for me to talk and draw, or talk and think at the same time. So at least, thinking for a layout, a thumbnail layout. So, or a layout for the illustration. So I spent part of the day today doing that. So I think I came out with a shot that I like, an action shot. I really like doing action shots of my characters or superheroes or whoever I'm drawing, as opposed to like just having them stand there. Those are cool too, but I don't know. It's one of the reasons I love superhero comic books so much, superheroes and stuff, because there's so much action and stuff. But anyway, yeah, I think I came up with a good, a really cool pose for him that I won't have to think too much, and I can talk to you guys and explain what I'm doing. But something that's actiony and this is not really showing his power too much, but just hopefully it'll look cool. And but yeah, definitely love action shots. They make things really dynamic and like full of motion. So that's I'll have him like in the middle of a battle. Yeah, in the middle of a battle and kind of like ready for action, ready for the fight. That's kind of like what the pose is. Kind of like giving some kind of upshot. I think I'll straighten his arm. I'm doing it digitally because I don't really have a camera set up right now to do. I use paper, do pencil and paper, or else I do that because I like doing that a lot. And that I think that's the way I'm going to draw the book, on pencil and paper as opposed to digital. I do a lot of work for most of my clients digitally because it's easier, and for a lot of the projects that I work on, I'm not the original art really isn't in demand for sale or anything, so I'll do a lot of digital stuff. But I think on my book, when I put out Triple Threat, it's going to be on paper and then colored digitally. All my coloring is done digitally. I don't do any coloring with paint, watercolor or paint or anything. I draw him with like, so yeah, he's okay. This is Atlas, and I draw him like in an upshot. I really like action, like dynamic angled shots with a lot of kind of foreshortening, or putting the character in space, in 3D space. It really gives it even more of an action-packed dynamic feel when I'm drawing, and makes the image like way more fun for me. Anyways, I'm using Clip Studio Paint. I used to use Photoshop, but that's when I before. But I just love this program because you can move this digital pad doesn't have any doesn't have touch
multi-touch, so I just rely on the tools. But so it's got a really cool, but it's okay. It's got a lot of really cool movement, rotating tool in here that I use a ton. You need to to get from all different angles as a comic book artist. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, and I'm using I used to use Wacom a lot, but now I use it's like I use XP Pen, which I love. And once I started using XP Pen, it just was it for me. It's really good, really well made. It's a lot more affordable than Wacom, and it actually lasts longer than my Wacom that I had. Well, of course, before I was using the Cintiq, the one portable one. I forgot what it was called. But anyways, it got crapped out on me after a couple of years. But this one I've had for a few years, and it's like going. Of course, this isn't a computer. Also, like the Cintiq one I had. But yeah. Anyways, XP Pen, great quality. All right, I better start talking about Atlas. I guess. Let me see. Anyways, as you can tell, I'm very sketchy with my thumbnail, and I usually start, begin the whole thing with very basic shapes, and it doesn't seem like that with basic shapes, but with circles and squares that I start putting in there. To start with an action line. I'm a huge fan of How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, and that's where I learned a lot of the stuff. When you're laying out a character, start with an action shot, and then start laying in the big forms. And so here's the chest. I threw an arm, throw arms in there, and the chest is twisted that direction, and then I have the torso, the hips and legs pointing almost straight on. But yeah, so I start with very simple shapes, or as this one is a bunch of very simple squiggly lines. I'm still not exactly sure about how I wanted to do him. That's why I'm taking a little bit longer. Normally I'll be a little bit faster. That's why I'm taking a little bit longer with the layout on this. And it's so sketchy. But I don't mind when I'm working in digital, because I can just reduce the opacity on this and lay in the next level up in tight lines. And of course you have undo, which you don't have with pencil and paper. I mean, you got the eraser, of course, but undo's a lot faster. But yeah. So anyway, yeah, drawing. I'll have him like gripping something here. No, I mean like having his hand in like a claw instead of like a fist. But anyway, yeah. Atlas is one of the main characters of my Triple Threat comic book. I don't know how much of the story I should get into, because some of it I want to be a surprise as I start introducing more and more things, and especially since I'm barely working on the first issue right now. I'm almost done with the first draft. I'm writing it myself. This is my first book I've ever written myself, which I'm excited about. But anyways, he is a genetically created superhuman. I don't know what I'm going to call them in the book, like meta people or ultra people or whatever. Anyways, genetically manipulated superhero that named by the name of I think I put it up already, Gabriel Ramirez. And he was one of three. Obviously, it's called Triple Threat because there's three superhumans. that are created genetically engineered, like agents, created by this one the villain named Kaiser Rex, and he is like super worried, super concerned with the growing. This is like part of a universe of other heroes with the growing threat of super beings in the world, and he wants to be, because he loves power and being in control of things, and he wants to be what do you call it? Ahead of things with it, and so he's enlisted the aid of this doctor who I think his name's going to be Jonathan Chang. He's a doctor, and of course in bioengineering, to create for him a superhuman agent, superhuman police force, or not police force because these are private. It's a private corporation, but anyway, superhumans as agents, and uses to as protection and to gain power, and enact his evil plans. He wants to take over the leadership of a worldwide criminal organization that he's part of. He's a member of, and also of governments and the world and stuff. And he sees he as himself as the one to do that. And even though he didn't actually develop the process, which he likes to, he takes credit for everything. It was his idea he wanted to come up with. So he's hired Dr. Chang to do that. And so that's where basically like they've created life and genetically engineered their own people as superpowered agents, superpowered fighters, superpowered what you want to call them, subjects that he can and then sell and use for protection and sell to the highest bidder. And so I'll give you a little bit of the story there, the premise of the story. And Atlas is one of three. He's the leader of the group, and he is. I think I have it. Okay, let me see. Okay, I want to have like an explosion here in the foreground. There'll be an explosion. Maybe explosion in the background, because part of the story is he's battling these armored dudes in a like a ruined part of a city. So I guess I draw a scene from that. Maybe I'll stick a building back here. Stick some smoke. Yeah, stick some smoke, some explosions. Anyways, I think this is turned out pretty well. But anyway, he's Atlas has is like, oops, it's a little bit too light. Atlas is I don't know if you can tell from how I designed him or not, but probably not, because I designed him kind of purposely to be kind of ambiguous, his costume, to his powers. But Atlas is kind of like a Wonder Man kind of Luke Cage kind of character. He's just like super strong and has like, he's like invulnerable, almost Superman, like a Superman character, invulnerable, or the Shazam, or but he can't fly, so he's more again more along the lines of like a Wonder Man or a Thor without his hammer. And so just super strong, super endurance. Let me see. Can jump really high, run really fast. Not like the Flash, fast, but like I don't know, maybe like 60 miles an hour. 70 miles an hour. Something as fast as like a car, motorcycle. He can jump really high, like the Hulk, because he has, he's got, super strong legs. He's like really, really powerful. Can lift, cars and punch a hole in buildings and all that kind of stuff. Again, basically like a Wonder Man type of character. I don't think I was ready to work on his. It'll be all right. I was gonna say I'm not sure I was ready to. You know what? I'm not. I'm gonna do one more level of tightening up here. I'll go with like a darker blue. But yeah, so he's basically like a Wonder Man kind of character, but again, and can't fly, but then super strong, bulletproof, fireproof, has bigger lung capacity, and can hold his breath very long. Just so again, super strong, and able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. But the thing that's a little bit different for him from Wonder Man is that he can grow really big, and the bigger that he gets, the stronger that he gets. But there's a limit. He can't grow big like Giant Man or Goliath. It's more like he can grow like 15 feet, 10 to 15 feet is like his maximum, and so he can grow pretty that tall, and the bigger that he gets, the stronger that he gets. But also he can't maintain that height and that strength for like a long time. So when he's in a battle, he's got to try to win fast if he needs that strength, or else he's gonna get really weak and have to take a break and regenerate. He eats a lot and stuff like that. It takes a lot of energy, but also the power. His cells keep regenerating, so he can he's always can maintain a lot of strength, but he just needs time to sometimes it takes time depending on how much power that he uses to do his super strong thing. And so when he's in a battle, he's got to really, especially if he's battling a formidable opponent, watch his power levels and watch what he does, or else he could get winded, so to speak, soon. But that'll take a while. Again, he's just really strong for that. And he's also kind of young. He was created to be. He's young. He's probably like a teenager. Maybe it's like 16 or 17. And he's also the leader of Triple Threat, the very reluctant leader. He lacks a lot of confidence, and he's continually needing to grow in confidence. He can be a better and better leader, and that doesn't make Kaiser very happy, since Kaiser developed these heroes to be just kick butt, man, just kick butt, take names, and he has need of them to do what what he wants to do in order for him to enact his evil plans. So that is Atlas, at least in a nutshell, his abilities. But I think I've had him as long, especially this whole project, in mind for many years. So, like the first time I really started fleshing them out was about 5 years ago. But I've had them even longer. It's just when I, working on the story and building, world building and stuff before then. But I started, and I'll have to post some of the earlier concepts. It's almost the same as they are now. There's a few little tweaks. But yeah, it's almost the same. The same design as he is now, which is really cool. I can't wait to show you guys the rest of the characters, as I'm close to. I introduced Inferno. I posted her up on X or a couple different social media sites recently. So she is out. I'll probably do a process video for her soon or next. I also want to do some other videos, like get more into a lot of tutorial videos, because what I like to do is have not a series, but just have people follow along as my progress, the making of Triple Threat. And especially since I'm like, a lot of it's just in the beginning stages. Like I said, I just started working on the script. And I'd like to finish the script this month. And I can start working on the interior pages soon. Because my goal is to finish the first issue before I launch next summer. I think that'll really help, because I really want to be sure that I fulfill quickly, and get the books out to you guys soon, because I really want you guys to be happy. And that's again why I hope you like this book. I mean, I'm doing it because it's like I love superheroes and I love this project and stuff, but I also am open. I want to make superhero fans and stuff like that, like you guys, happy, and I hope you really enjoy the book, for yourselves, not just for me. And that's the kind of books I want to make. I just want to be able to create. I'm just like a diehard, superhero fan, and I've always been like a superhero action adventure fan, and those are my favorite kind of books to create. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm doing it. But yeah, I just really want to, make you guys happy and make myself happy and put out a good product. And the way I want to do it too is I want to get the feeling, like put out something that feels like, like remember that magic when you were kids and you would collect comic books and read them in your buy them at the store, a comic book store, or 7-Eleven. That's right, or Circle K. Right, first guy kind of was getting my first comic books, and as I was growing up, and the excitement I had with getting them, and then not only getting them but wanting to draw them. When I was a kid, there was this kid. It was like third grade. I was in third grade, and there was this kid that I knew that was very strange. His name was Bambi Barrera, and he was Filipino. And my name was Benji Herrera. But anyways, I thought he was awesome because he could draw out of his head, from memory, and that was like, I couldn't do that yet, especially not. I mean, I could do stick figures, but not like full on awesome, superhero poses. And one time I watched him draw at school a Superman just out of his head. It was like he was posed really awesome, just staying there with his feet spread apart and stuff. And I was like dumbfounded because it was so good, I thought, at that age, and I couldn't do that. So I wanted to learn. So that's one of the things that helped me like want to become an artist. So getting, I had that, desire to draw like that. And also every time I read comic books, the more and more I wanted to draw the characters, and the more and more I wanted to also create. I remember being at grandmother's house and creating comic books, on the desk in the bedroom, like in the dark, because we didn't have, light for a desk lamp. But I was, but I didn't care. I just wanted to create, superheroes. And I just drew the whole thing and penciled it, inked it, colored it myself, put words on it, did everything. If you guys ever did that, you know how it is. You don't have resource, but you don't care, you just draw. And that's what I did. I just drew it. And then when I was older too, I had an art class, and I did it like a one big page, or no, it was 2 pages, comic book story that I, of course, wrote, penciled, inked, colored, and lettered myself. I wish I would have done more, and also I forget, man, I forget what the character was. He was another type of character that was just strong. I just love strong type characters like Wonder Man and Luke Cage, Power Man. And there was this one character in the Teen Titans. He was a guest in the Teen Titans named Starfire, the original Starfire. And he was Russian. And he was, again, like a Wonder Man type character. Except he had a green uniform with, those big Buccaneer boots and stuff, which I do not like. And he was fighting the Teen Titans because he wanted to, they thought he wanted to murder this one Russian girl, and he wasn't trying to murder her. He did want to kill her, but only because she was infecting, got uses a mule for revenge of this Russian scientist against the Americans. So she was infecting and killing the Americans with a disease. So he was trying to stop that, and he only wanted to kill her because there was no way to save her. But anyways, it turned out to be his it was really emotional because it turned out to be his fiance and stuff. But anyway, I don't want to get into the whole thing. But the character was just awesome, as Starfire, and his part of his design still I'm influenced by to this day, but yeah, just that feeling that you get that I got anywhere, maybe other people got of superheroes and wanting to create them and draw them, produce them, and that's the kind of feeling I want to have when I do this book. The feeling of like a kid, just passionate about comic books and superheroes and want to share that and just create stories. Another thing that helped me too was when I was in it was junior high or high school, I forget which one, but anyways, there was suddenly there was these hand-drawn comic books that started appearing and started being passed around school. And I found out the name, and this guy named Keithan Jones, I think his last name was Jones. I never met him, but I knew about him from his comic books, and it was crazy enough, that was a big influence on me. And it reminded me of George Perez Avengers, but it was a superhero comic book that he created about a superhero group, kind of like the Avengers. And it was awesome to see a kid. Somebody was probably it was around my age. He was at another school, but drawing, creating these comic books. And so we're supposed to pass them around, but I kind of kept mine for a little bit longer than I should have because I was so inspired by them. And I didn't know the time that I could just go to, and these are originals. They weren't copies. He'd draw originals and then let people borrow them. And he drew multiple issues. I don't know how he was so prolific, but I was impressed, man. I was props to that dude. And but anyways, that was also a big inspiration. And I just want to get that kind of feeling to this, all the projects that I do. created myself. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I want to have writers and stuff like that at some point when I make more money, and could afford to pay other people. But yeah, I just want, again, that kind of feeling to that I'm creating it, on my desk at home, writing it, penciling, inking it, lettering it, and I'm hoping you guys will be excited about reading that. Well, you think they're good, of course, not just because whatever, but yeah, I want to create, good, fun stories that hopefully bring that kind of like coolness, feeling of when you were like a kid, reading them and enjoying them. Because that's what I do. Probably a lot of you did the same thing. I spend hours, what do you call it? Just in the floor of my bedroom, with all my comic books laid out, and just be spending hours, like reading them, and haven't done that in many years. But yeah, just a lot of great memories as a kid. But yeah, anyway, and for Triple Threat, oh yeah, I even remember like the first name of the first comic book that I created when I was in my grandmother's bedroom. Maybe he was the Enforcer. So he was like a Batman type character, or like a vigilante type character. Again, another George Perez creation. Again, I was heavily influenced by George Perez when I was a kid. I loved his stuff. I was always a big fan of his. But what was I saying? Oh, I was saying, and then Triple Threat I've had like, well, not as long, but I've had them from. I think I've had Triple Threat from. Shoot, when I was around the first time I became a professional, like in the 90s, so they might be that old. But anyways, yeah, I've had them for years, and there's other projects too I have that I'd like to launch as well. But Triple Threat is my first one. Some of them are in the same universe, like Triple Threat. I have a couple of projects that are in the same universe as Triple Threat, and other ones, a lot of them aren't. I'd love to one day get to all of them. Hopefully, start sharing the wealth as far as like being able to hire people to write and draw them also. That would be awesome. So I can, get through these faster, because I have a lot, man. I think I have like, I don't know, for sure like 5 solid ones ready to go. And then I may even have like 20 different projects that I have that I like to work on and produce. So yeah, that's the goal. Start producing all these comic book cool, what I think are cool comic book projects. Oh yeah, the only thing here is sometimes when a computer isn't running fast, it lags, and I think mine's lagging a little bit right now. Oh well, but yeah, so that's yeah, let me get this hand right. A big thing of proportion. Oh, this first this is actually my first ever process video. As you can probably tell on my YouTube channel, I've done a lot of traveling videos, which, because I love traveling, and I've been living in Europe for the past almost 10 years, just traveling around. So I want to do that, and I wanted to do artwork before, but I just didn't know how to incorporate that in on the channel. But now I think I have. I think I've been able to sort that out. So I'm gonna add, start to add more art content. Especially, I want to, like I said, have a making of, and how you can accompany me on the journey, the path to Triple Threat, on the road to Triple Threat. But yeah, so this is my first. My very first process video, and I don't know if you could tell, but I'm feeling kind of very self-conscious about it, because I'm just not used to drawing and talking at the same time. But I can get used to it. I just have to do it more. Because I'm normally I was thinking that because normally this drawing would I'd be a lot further along on this than I am now, but it's because I'm trying to think and draw at the same time, which sounds weird, because obviously we got to think, but anyways, yeah. So that's what's going on here. So hopefully by the next process video I'll be better, and if not, I'll just keep practicing. And if you guys have any comments on what I can do or what you guys like to see or whatever, just let me know. And because I'm still kind of I have a kind of an idea of how I'd like to do my channel, but I'm still I'm still forming that. Gosh, how long have I done this already? Okay, 30. Oh, it's not too long. I mean, some of the videos that I've seen of artists and stuff have gone like have gone more like hours. So I guess I need to get used to banter. He has ridges in his costume, but I'm not sure. I think I'm going to draw the ridges in right now. See, like this, then like, yeah, then like, oh yeah, it goes down. See, that's why I made concept design sheets, because sometimes even I forget, it's my own creation, but I forget how I've designed the costume. So these things, that goes like this. And boom. And there's one more, yeah. And these ones you aren't going to see too well because a lot of the costume is is black. And also, I'll give you a little hint. This is this is his first costume. So yeah, he's gonna. If you read the story, you'll find out about that. But anyways, I like it. I think it's kind of neat. I like his other costume too. Actually, I'm still designing his other costume, and there'll be a reason for that if you pick up the book and read it. So why he has another costume. But yeah, and I don't know if you can tell my my style is like pretty simple, or not very detailed. Kind of like I've gotten like animation kind of comments, and which I love. I love animation. I love manga. I'm a big anime, influenced by anime stuff and simplicity. But a big reason that he I do simple stuff is, to me, simpler stuff pops out more. Is more powerful to me, and it works better for me. Plus, it's more difficult for me to draw. A lot of detail in cross-hatching, and wasn't ever really any good at like doing cross-hatching stuff and rendering that kind of stuff. And I realized I didn't really like it, and so that was easy for me to switch to a simpler one. But also a big thing too was I'm really big influenced by like superhero movies. And when you have superhero movies, I mean, unless you're Zack Snyder's Batman, you don't see the muscles under a costume. Like Captain America and Black Panther and Hawkeye, and they're they're not, you don't see any muscles. They're clothing, their costume on the outside, and that's the kind of feel that I want to get. So a lot of the that's why I don't draw a lot of. I'll leave out a lot of detail with the uniforms and stuff because of that reason. I'm trying to get like I really would like to get a more of like they're really wearing clothes kind of stuff. And I wasn't ever a big fan of molded like muscles cut into armor. and stuff like Zack Snyder's Batman. And I didn't ever think that was really cool. If they're gonna have armor, like have like armor, like kind of like how Batman Beyond's costume was, or Nolan's the Batman costume for Christopher Nolan's Batman, because I think like if you're gonna be out there and be like vigilantes and stuff like that, you should have armor on, and maybe some of it won't be as visible, but more protection, when you're out there kicking butt, you don't want to get hurt. But anyways, that's my philosophy around how I draw simpler stuff, because of clothes, and if you're gonna have detail, because clothes don't show muscles and stuff. If you're gonna have detail, then you'll put it in folds and stuff. And also, I like costumes that are very simple. Again, another reason it's simplicity for me is because it's more powerful for me that way. When things and faster to draw when you have more simple and bold designs. So that's where I'll kind of separate from the movie costumes, because if you notice the design on them, they're very detailed with their different style and stuff that's on them. And besides just the fabric and folds, there's, if you look at any one of them, Captain America's or Black Widow's or Hawkeye's and stuff in the Marvel movies, their costumes are crazy detailed. And it looks cool on screen, when you don't have to render them all the time, but as comic book artists, it takes a lot longer the more detail that you have. Plus, it's just, that's not another reason. It's just also for speed on that. It's just, to me, it just looks more powerful when things are simpler, and then I could focus more on the action, the dynamic part in the storytelling, as opposed to spending a long time, detailing and rendering a clothing. And or anything else, like a building or whatever. I'm a big believer in only showing what needs to be shown, and what's going to fit the story well. I think I'm almost done with this. And I wanted to throw in some. I'll put it, erase that, and I'll make the explosion smaller, and smoke will be like that. So I wanted to put some action in there, man, this dude's getting attacked, man, and I don't want to show who's attacking him, who's he fighting, in the comic book yet. One, because that's part of the story. I don't want to leak too much of it, but also because they're kind of, okay, I will admit I did design his adversaries in this scene. They're kind of detailed. So I don't want to take all night on this process video. So yeah, as you could tell, for me when I do digital stuff, and it's similar when I draw on paper too. I'll draw lighter on paper, and then I'll start fleshing out the thing with I'll do a blue line on paper, and then start erase it and start drawing, with a pencil, and do tight pencils, and then ink it, or go straight to inks if I want to save time. So I do basically the same thing here. Except this one, I did another, which I don't usually do. But anyways, during this process video, it helped me think better. I did another flesh out of the line work and stuff of his body, in a darker blue. And I think next I'm going to be ready for the inks. And then here's the building in the background. I think I'll just kind of like do like a silhouette. Have some kind of thing that's got knocked up or whatever. And this is like a really like thrashed part of the they're fighting in like a wrecked part of the city. Okay, a lot of rubble, you know, because it's the explosions behind him. He's got his hand up. Let me see here. I'm kind of looking at my hand right now to see if there's anything on his hand I want to change. I think there is. I'm not happy with his hand at all. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and erase that and do a better hand. I won't erase it. I'll keep it in case I need it. I'll cut it and paste it and get it out of the way in case I want to keep it. And that's another thing you can do with digital stuff. You can do what you just did. You when you're with pencil and paper, you can't really like cut and paste and keep in case you want to use it again. But here you can. Okay, how am I going to do his hand? Let me see. Okay, I think I have it. Okay. Yeah, I think I have a better idea about how I want his. I want him to have like a, be like a claw type thing. I think this is good. I think. Yeah, I think. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Your hands, I'm still feeling like I need to work a lot on my hands. What always makes it helpful is, you know, you got a hand to check out to draw whenever you need reference for, but I still find hands to be a work in progress for me, even though I've been doing them for so many years. But I enjoy doing them. They used to frustrate me the heck out of me when I was first learning them, and I just, you know, wanted to just always draw them, you know, having the people always have fists, you know, because a fist is the easiest thing to draw. But then I really want them to be very expressive. So yeah, so hence, you know, why my continued labor with learning how to draw hands better and better. But it's great though. The better I can get at that, it's just more fun. Some stuff though that I don't like drawing though. There's some things I don't like drawing. Like I'm not a big weapons guy. I don't really have fun doing those too much. But they're important too. You know, if you have a kind of character with weapons like a cable or something like that, then they're and they're satisfying too. Like when I draw weapons, but you know, when I'm done. But I'm working on them. And I want you to mention that too because I have a character in, or actually a few characters in the story that are a weapons type character. They have a lot of guns and swords and stuff. So yeah, I gotta get better at that, and this would be a great opportunity to learn. Drawing, having to do more and more of those things, and all of it is a learning process still, man. That I love. The more stuff I like to draw, I draw in a book and I add in the book. But doing your own book, you can definitely are skewing towards drawing things you love drawing. And that's what definitely Triple Threat is. It's stuff that I love drawing. It's actually going to be set in Europe, so it's definitely influenced by me traveling. So it's going to be set in Europe. So a lot of European things have inspired me. So there's going to be a lot of that in it. High tech stuff, superheroes, of course, a lot of action adventure. Creatures, all kinds of awesome stuff in it. Secret enclaves. Like I'm a huge fan of course, who isn't of John Wick and the whole secret. But I've always been like the James Bond movies. Always had secret, big secret criminal organizations. This is a little like spy intrigue. I'm a huge fan of like secret agent movies. So it's going to have a little bit of that in here. I actually have a comic book project that has to do with the secret agents, which will come out later. And it might even be in the same universe. I'm not sure. But yeah, so it'll have that. So that's one of the cool things about producing something that you yourself, because you can just draw kind of whatever you love to draw. And that's what I'm going to be doing here. Superheroes and action, adventure, intrigue, kind of spy stuff. Okay, I think that is ready to go to blacks. Here we go. To inks. I guess I'll call them. I still call them inks. I don't have to call them inks though, but because it's all digital. But for lack of a better term, I'll say inks. Okay. Inks. I forgot to name these. Like to stay organized with them. Okay, here we go. Let's see what thickness they are. I used to like a lot of like thick outlines, on the very the outlines, but I'm toggling back and forth because I love like how it is with really thin lines on the outside, and so I'm still kind of debating all that, but it's okay. I don't have to decide right now. I just like to have fun with the drawing. And then the nice thing about digital is you can come closer. So yeah, Triple Threat is definitely more than just a superhero story. I'll definitely say that. With a lot of my favorite kinds of superheroes, superhero powers. Like I said, I always was a fan of like superheroes like Captain America. Like he's actually my favorite superhero. And one of the things is I love his origin story. With being genetically engineered, or taking a serum, or becoming a superhero, because of a scientific experiment. And so that's definitely one of the things that influenced me. And plus, that's to me one of a plausible ways to become a superhero. That you're created, by basically a lab. And I mean, there's other ones too. You know, there's aliens and stuff, and like you have like in Marvel, the Eternals. Aliens are created you, or the Inhumans, or well, just other superheroes that are aliens. Then you have Thor, and then you have your mutants. So there's all different kinds, which I really want to do too. Because I'm basically I'm a huge fan of Marvel, and well, DC it's okay, but Marvel's my favorite. Has most of my favorite superheroes, and I would love to create like a universe like that with just a bunch of superheroes. Anyways, with Atlas, he's is genetically engineered to be this like superhuman, super strong, um, character. And then of course Kaiser Rex is happy to have because success. He's got plans, man. He's got stuff he wants to do. He wants to, take over, kick butt, be the best. Kaiser is like a really arrogant, but smart and charismatic, very charismatic villain. Very, very wealthy. And so he's got to be the best and only the best and be the most powerful. And so what else, can he be but create his own life superpowered life to make that happen. And of course he's going to do that. And he's got to be, he's got to rule, man. He's got to, and be revered, hence the name. It was another influence, European influence also for his name. Kaiser Rex. Plus, I just kind of think it sounds kind of cool. Bad guys got to have cool names, man. He's kind of like a Doctor Doom, except that he doesn't care about people like as much as Doctor Doom, because Doctor Doom is a bad guy, but he's like the ruler of Latvia and he like cares about his subjects and stuff. But not Kaiser. He's just all out for himself, man, because he's got to like be the main man, the one in control, the one with the power, the one ruling over everything. Yeah, earlier I was just mentioning, Starfire from, Teen Titans character. But part of, even to this day, part of Atlas's design was based a little bit off of Starfire, the original Starfire. Again, you'll find him. I forget what issue he was of Teen Titans, but it was way back when George Perez was doing the book. And I was just thinking that because he had like short sleeves like this, also. So yeah, I love being able to have influences and like showcase them in the work that I do. Especially a lot of the artists that I because that's why I did comic books, mainly for the artwork. And George Perez, I know mention him, but he's a huge influence on me, especially on these characters and stuff. Because to me, he was like one of the artists that was like the epitome of superhero comic book artists. Him, and let me see who else. John Byrne, of course, and Walt Simonson. But to me, Walt was more of the epitome of a Thor artist. Okay, I think. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting a little quiet. I'm checking out my hand again. I'm wanting to make sure I get that right. Get the hand right. Yeah, I'll do a lot of, mostly when it comes to hands, a lot of, get a lot of reference for that. Yeah, as I'm drawing this, I'm really remembering like a lot of where Atlas's influences are coming from, costume wise. I already told you where they're coming from power wise. But yeah, oh yeah, another thing I forgot to tell too. I know I mentioned earlier that he could grow really big, like about 10 to 15 feet. And I'm not sure if I mentioned, I don't think so, but yeah, I think, anyways, I'll say it again because I want to. Yeah, his growing power I got from, I don't know if you guys ever watched Saturday morning cartoons, and I forgot the name of it, but the title of the cartoon series, but there was a character in there named Super Samurai, and he was a teenage boy named Yoshi, and that he would transform into Super Samurai, basically this big, kind of like purple, big samurai dude, but without swords or knives or whatever, without a katana. And he was just like I don't know where they got that idea to come up with that, but I thought it was really cool. And he would grow big, like, I don't know, 10, 15 feet. And he was super strong. He could run really fast. And so that's another thing that I based Atlas off of. You would think it would be off of his name, like the Greek, dude who was holding up the world or the universe or whatever he was holding up. But actually, no, I just like the name because it was big. But it actually was a recent name. It was going to be named like Ultra or Mega before. Yeah, so it's Wonder Man or Luke Cage and Super Samurai. Those are the influences for Atlas, and with a little Captain America thrown in because of the genetic engineering aspect. Let me see. Okay, I think I have. Okay, yeah, I think I'm getting it right. And he's got like those fingerless gloves. And he also doesn't really need them because he's super strong, but anyways, it's for the look. Because they look cool. And also it's part of his uniform from Kaiser that he was given. So it's pretty much whatever Kaiser wants. Okay, I think. Sometimes hands can be frustrating, but always great when you do them, when you finish them. That did not come out right. Gotta shrink this hand when I'm done. It's coming out a little bit too big. As you can tell, I went from blue lines and then other blue lines to inks, and so was my my process on here. Okay, I think that's a cool hand. It's an okay hand for this right now. I gotta shrink it a little bit. So that's how I basically do everything, or at least my digital drawing. Again, my penciling on paper is a little bit different, but you know, I'll use erasers for what I use undo for, but a lot slower. Again, a lot slower. Each thing has its I think I enjoy drawing on paper way more than I do digital, and then you have the original, you know, paper to work with. But traveling around like I do, it's just a lot easier and more convenient to draw digitally. It's just a lot easier, especially since my clients mostly want, you know, always want stuff digital, so I can just send in the files when it's done, and don't have to worry about scanning anything. But I miss drawing on paper a lot, so yeah, I think I'm gonna do this book on paper and then color everything digitally still, and then letter it digitally. But okay, there was something missing about it. His hand was a little bit anemic. Oh, and I think I need to make his thumb bigger. His thumb does not look like an atlas-sized thumb. Oops. Yeah, that's a little bit better. His thumb looked really tiny. Don't want a tiny thumb. You look kind of strange with the big old fingers and tiny thumb. So yeah, I stick in the all right, I think I got that done. Fill in more of his costume. So yeah, these heroes, or these subjects or agents or whatever you want to call them, I still gotta get a name for them for that, but that Kaiser has is his, of course, their secret weapon or triple threat to, gain control, make more money, stay on top as a weapons, kind of like a Tony Stark kind of thing thrown in here. As a weapons developer, except this time with real biological weapons, because they can get up and walk and talk and breathe. But also, what is going to use again, like I said, to take control of, the secret organization. Right now, they're called the Cabal. I think I'm gonna change that name later. But for the moment, they're the Cabal. And he, it's his right to rule them. It's his right to rule whatever he wants because he's Kaiser X. So, of course, he's the one to develop and come up with, super powered agents that he can utilize for his own dastardly deeds. And yeah, so that's where Atlas is, comes from. And you'll also find another way why they're called triple threat, because in the story, especially since they're the obviously the protagonists, the heroes of the group, and that's be an issue since Kaiser X is the bad guy. So I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, there's of course some story behind that. Okay, I think. Change this. As you see, you noodle away just, as long as you go, and with digital it makes it just a lot easier to adjust things. So I'm taking full advantage of the digital. But again, I prefer paper and pencil. So yeah, I can't wait till I get set up with my camera situation to be able to do that kind of process video sometime. I think I did that too much. Yeah. There we go. And also goggles, again, are from, I just like goggles on costumes. I don't know why. I think it's just really cool. If I had it my way, every superhero would have goggles. Okay, maybe not, but I like them a lot. And again, another influence from the Teen Titans Starfire character. Again, not the. Oh yeah, by the way, it's a dude. That I'm talking about, Starfire, not the old original one. So both the original one was a guy, and of course Corey, the alien Starfire is a woman. So I don't want to get them confused. And I like both characters, man. Like, I just thought that the Corey, her character was awesome, and so was the original Starfire character was awesome, because he's like a Wonder Man kind of character, and as you know, I love those kind of characters. I forgot he's got a helmet, so it goes all the way. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much the character. He's super strong, super powerful, can grow really big. But his name's not Yoshi. Again, it's Gabriel Ramirez. And you'll find out in the story why his name's that name. Yeah, I've got a bunch of different things that are popping out of the story that are not normal. So there's a reason why he has this name, you know, his secret agent name or a secret identity name, if you know, as he's an agent for the bad guy, genetically created agent. You know, because basically Kaiser is, you know, happy that he's been the first to develop life as we know it. Well, not as we know it, because this is superpowered life. And initially, you'll not, I don't know if you've seen on my X page the other character Inferno. Her costume is similar to Atlas's, and the third character is the same, and there's a reason for that in the story. So that was kind of made it easier to design when I came up with the design for Atlas. So the first one, there was going to be almost similar for the other two. And then there's a reason why they're mostly black costumes. Alright, I think it's coming out okay. Maybe I'll have to do this on have a part 2, because this is coming along pretty. I don't know, this again, this is I'm still getting used to this because this is the longest this is my first process video, and it's also the longest video I've ever recorded. Most of my videos are, you know, pretty short, just like 10, you know, 15, maybe 20 minutes long. So I definitely need to get, I'm gonna be getting used to longer videos, which I'm need to, because, you know, I got a lot of art to create, especially if we're gonna be I'm gonna be recording the whole making of, which I can't wait to do, because this is my first time creating my own project, my own comic book. I've had, you know, like I said, I have many different projects, but none of them have ever been fleshed out or created or anything. So this is my first time. So you kind of come along with me as I, you know, doing all of that for the first time. Of course, many years doing comic books and video games, but concept design and stuff, illustration. But yeah, it's my first time creating a whole story, my own project, writing it, penciling, inking it, coloring it, lettering it, just like when I was a kid. So it's I can't wait to do that. So yeah, I'd like to document that, and hope you guys enjoy that. And you could check out what how I'm doing it before it launches next summer. Which that's the goal. I mean, if it goes longer, I'll let you know. Of course, that's why I don't have a specific date yet. But yeah, the goal is to launch like next summer. Oh, sorry. It's my machine, my laptop is not it's the CPU is slowing down. I have a lot of windows open that I forgot to close. So that's why my machine's running a bit slow. Normally it doesn't do that. So that's not my XP Pen digital display. That always runs perfectly. Just my laptop is kind of lagging. Gotta give him a belt, because superheroes gotta have belts. They just gotta. There's a reason why he does, though. Well, there's a whole reason behind the uniform and what it does. To help augment, and why Kaiser had him wear have them wear costumes, uniforms. That will all be explained in the story. Yeah, I can't wait to do more of my projects and more of this project, because it's got like all the cool stuff. I've been in development for years. So yeah, I've had the basic thing fleshed out for years. So that's another reason I'm excited about working on the book, because it's been a long time coming, and I really want you to introduce you to the world of Triple Threat, which of course in the end will be a super huge big world, with other characters and heroes. So it's Triple Threat is like the first in like a big universe of big superhero universe. And also, I have to let you know my name, my comic book company, which I will announce later as well. So it'll be a big part of a section of that. The other part's going to be the other projects I have that are not in the same superhero universe. Which I can't wait to do those too. Oh, there's so many ideas in so little time. But that's the goal too, to get to all of them. And yeah, I can't wait. So again, I hope this is a success. You guys like this first one, because that will help me continue putting out the rest of it. And my initial idea is to have this be a 6-issue miniseries, and then jump on to the next project. But I'm trying to see, like, gauge if I want to introduce them right away during this campaign, or not. I'm not sure. Got to see if I have time to. I might, because I was thinking about, putting out 2 different issues in this campaign, but I'm not sure if I have time to draw them. Because again, I'd like to have the issues done before the project launches, so then I could just make sure that I can fulfill quickly. Because I really want to be able to get the books to you guys quickly and then jump on the next issue. I was thinking about doing like a super long book, because as you can tell, six issue miniseries, so that means it could be like a super long book, but that would take me like forever to draw and get it out to you guys, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather get stuff into your hands quickly. Oops. And it was also be fun for me just to do it this way, that I could put out the books faster and get to the story faster. Instead of waiting for, I think the books are going to be like 30 pages each, or 32 pages, or something like that. Because I want to have, and then plus more pages, because I want to have other stuff in the back of the book, maybe some pinups, it's a brief, editorial, that kind of stuff. In the first issue, and I'm also I'm working out like, what do I want for the tiers? So I'm working on that stuff right now too. So I'm still thinking about. I love the idea of trading cards. I love the idea of posters. I love the idea of also a concept design book. Like a making of. As I want to do on this on YouTube on the channel. But have like a, because I love concept art books, and I'm creating a lot of artwork for the project, besides just the cover and the interiors. So I'd love to be able to share that, So if you guys have any ideas, let me know what you'd like to see in the campaign. Yeah, I got to do it. So also I got to do the website, and 2 websites actually. One for my freelance, and then one for the project page, the comic book company page, which will of course have a link to the crowdfund on there. Okay. And I love creating a character and knowing their costumes. The reason why is because I remember, doing that with superheroes that I draw. Spider-Man or Captain America or Batman or whatever. Memorizing their costumes, because they were fun to draw, and now I get to do that for my own characters. So yeah, all this stuff is just brings back a lot of even doing my own book brings back a lot of great memories as to why I started, you know, drawing comic books and being a comic book fan in the first place. So I hope that comes across, especially in this book, because I really want to do that, and all of you that you know, and you know, make it a good, you know, hopefully give you guys with this the same kind of feeling for you guys as you read it, and you know, give you like an awesome, awesome fun experience, man. Because I mean, the comic books, man, the comic books got to be fun. Again, you can do this kind of stuff digitally. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave his lines off, the lines in his costume off. Yeah, normally I don't draw exactly this way. Again, I think I'm, like I said, I'm getting used to drawing and talking and doing this digitally. So I hope it's coming off well for you guys. The more I do it, the better I'll get at it. It's the goal anyway. So I gotta color this guy. I may not do the background, just color him and then stop the video. Yeah, I also want to do more, I'd like to do more tutorial videos too. You know, like I've always appreciated when people taught me stuff and just, you know, learn stuff, and especially watching here on YouTube. So getting some tutorial videos on you know, how to draw a comic book and all the stuff that's involved, or at least how I draw comic books and all the stuff I learned to be able to do that. You know, from figure drawing, anatomy to action. You know, drawing, you know, comic book action, composition, storytelling. You know, writing a script. Although that won't be too much for me, because this is my first script I've ever written, so take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, and in how to lay out a page, and just share a lot of, you know, all the stuff I've learned to do it. Again, a big influence was well, two influences were, you know, how to draw comics the Marvel way, and Will Eisner's it's sequential. Dang it, I forgot what it's called. Anyways, it was sequential storytelling, or something like that. Sequential. It was, but that was, I can't believe I forgot that. But that was an awesome book. If you ever can find it, to pick it up. Of course, as soon as I can remember the exact name of it. That was amazing. Those two books were the best. And then from there, I developed, you know, I learned anatomy books, got the anatomy books, and learned a bunch of anatomy, and practiced that all the time, and then learned other ways to do it, like, you know, copying artists and stuff, and the way I did life drawing, and so other things that I learned on top of those tried and true methods. got knee pads. So yeah, I'd love to do more, not just making of triple threat, but also how to draw comic books and stuff. And if you're interested in stuff and other things too, I do a lot of travel stuff, so I'd share that. How I've been being a comic book artist, traveling around Europe, which has been like awesome. I love being able to draw in different places, different countries, different cities, different cafes. I'm a huge proponent for drawing in cafes. I just love it because as a comic book artist, you are usually by yourself unless you're a member of a studio. So it's great to be able to get out and be with people. I've got to try co-working spaces though. I haven't yet tried any of those. I hear those are okay, but yeah, cafes work because I love coffee and love working there, and they got the Wi-Fi, of course, everything's set up. And plus, if you're in Europe, you got to go to a cafe. That's one of the reasons I came to Europe, to go to a cafe. Sounds funny. There's cafes in the United States too, but it's totally different in Europe. It's a totally different scene here. There we go. And also, when you do digital stuff, you can ink pretty quickly, as you can tell, or fill in blacks pretty quickly. So that went by pretty fast, and I love doing that too, because it's nice to finish something quicker, and it's like magic. It's like, whoa, all the blacks are filled in already. But yeah, that's Atlas, the leader of Triple Threat, one of the main characters of a Triple Threat comic book. I hope you love a basic, Wonder Man, Luke Cage, Starfire, Super Samurai type character that is, was genetically engineered to be Kaiser Rex's main muscle, human weapons goes to the highest bidder to control. And again, he's the leader of the group, a very reluctant leader, as you'll find out in the story, if you get it. Because he's not a very confident leader. He's got to learn all that stuff. Very insecure. Especially strange, being genetically modified. He can modify and make the agents, the test subjects, how Kaiser wants them to be. But again, not everything goes as planned. Let me throw that. I love throwing in debris like this, because there's an explosion behind them. So it's easy with the selection tool just to throw a bunch of chunks everywhere. Okay, let me see if I'm... Okay, how can I do the explosions? I love doing explosions, man. I gotta get better at them though, but I love doing it. One of my favorite explosion artists is Maha Golden. I mean, he's one of my favorite artists for everything, but he's so dynamic, and it's just explosive with how he draws everything. And when somebody's getting hit, or there's a bomb going off or something like that, you could tell that hurt, or the bomb, it was really powerful. the, you know, whatever, because of how he draws the explosions. And you got to be able to draw explosions as a comic book artist, because, you know, action adventure, and people got, you know, energy blasts going off everywhere, and so that's like pretty important things. The important thing to know how to draw. And I'm just doing it like really quick because I gotta finish this. This will be another promo piece that I'm using to advertise the book that if some of you check out my X profile, will notice, or on my Facebook too and other places, but I gotta, you know, put out stuff to promote the book, and plus I love doing illustrations. Okay, let me put in the smoke. Okay, that should do it. A little bit of smoke back there. And should I put it in the building? Yeah, building. It'll just be the silhouette of the building. That other part, and yeah, put a silhouette. Okay. Yeah, because he's gonna be the main focus. So, and this is just a quick promo piece. Maybe sometime when I get better at this, I'll do a more of a detailed piece. Oh wait, no, I need to do that. There's smoke down here. Also, I guess I could have used layers, but I forgot to put the smoke on another layer. But this is okay. There, and also I want to go over composition and stuff. I love composition and setting up things and framing things in the drawing. Okay, that's it for the. That is it for the drawing. Now I can hit the colors. I'll hit them really quick. Get rid of the blue line. Although I gotta change this a little bit. I'm not too happy about this. For some reason not. And this too, again, is I like digital because these are the inks, and inks you can't adjust that quickly if you want to change something with paper, you know, inking on paper and stuff like that. I suppose you could use whiteout, but no, it's There we go. So, but again, I still love paper more. It's just more fun drawing paper and have a different process for that. Okay, that is. Oh wait, let me add a little bit more detail to the. This. There. Run really quick. All right. I think that is done. So that would actually, yeah, I'm leaving a little bit. All right, let me color him. Let me get him colored here. And I'll do it like a really quick coloring thing. But yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the drawing, and yeah, I hoping to get better, people. So the next one will be better and more entertaining with the drawing. But yeah, I'm still not used to this. But it'll be. Anyways, it's been. Hope you enjoy the process, even though this is my first time doing it, and enjoy a little bit of the explanation of Atlas and Triple Threat. All right, let me see here. That as a background. Put in this right now. I'll put in a blue. Okay, and then start putting in the colors of his costume. It's got like a 3-color type thing. Well, what is it? 1, 2, yeah, 3. No, maybe 4 if you count his goggles. Organize, label the layers, and start coloring. Use blue, gray, black, and a red, a little bit of red. And there may be other ways to color, but this is the way I've always colored. Probably more efficient ways. I'm not really colors, but it does do okay. This is gray. And yeah, and then it's here. Okay, here's blue. And then his skin color. And it's kind of dark brown. Oops. Kind of dark brown. And see this up here. Oops. Oops. What am I doing here? Oh. Okay, finish his fingers off. I'm flatting right now, just putting in the flats. I don't like to do too much more than this. I like keeping everything simple, so the color, keep it simple, and plus I'm a huge fan of anime color or anime type stories or style. So I like to keep that kind of color. Kind of like you're watching an anime cartoon, an old anime, not cartoon. It's redundant. So I've just always been a fan of that shading for everything, comic books, and I mean that's one of the things I grew up with. Like some of my favorite, I'm influenced by a lot of it is Speed Racer and Battle of the Planets and Robotech. Those are the ones I grew up with. Maybe in Lion-O, or what do you call it? Battle with Lion-O. Gosh, Thundercats. Yeah, Thundercats. I was a huge fan of, so I love that kind of coloring for comic books. It's just very like simple and dynamic and fun. So that's the kind of feel I want to give my triple threat comic book, like all my projects. I also love a lot of colorful stuff. I'm a huge fan of color. To me, that's what superheroes are, color. And not, I don't like muted colors, like vibrant, colorful. It doesn't have to be saturated, but just a lot of those kinds of colors. To me, that's what superhero book is. There we go. Throw that in there. Okay, a little bit more of his costume here. That's like pretty generic explosion there, but I'm really trying to get this done sort of quickly so I can get this this video in the can. And get it out to you guys. It's cool. Okay. And let me do some smoke. Get a smoke color in here. Oops. Another thing I like to do is I need to have all of the lines, linking lines, closed off, so then when I color, I can pick them a lot easier. The areas to color a lot easier, and it stays pretty precise, so it doesn't bleed over into other parts of the areas that I want a different color. There you go. There was a big gaping hole there. All right, and that'll be gray. Generic gray clouds. Maybe I'll make them a little bit blue. No, what I'll do is I will use, I don't really like to use this, but I'll use a little bit of airbrush to give it a little bit of yellow, a little bit of the light coming from the explosion on the smoke. So give it a little bit of lighting effect, and I should probably put a little bit of that. Well, I'll do that on Atlas too. Put a little bit of lighting effect on there to show that he's part of the scene. He's getting lit up, literally because of the explosion. Okay, I'll put give this pillar back here. Brown, gonna make it brown. A little bit of a desaturated brown. And that'll have also a little bit of yellow. And then this very back pillar back here will be even a lighter brown after I plug up the hole. Okay. I think that's plugged. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Got a little bit of gradient. I'm not liking the background blue. Maybe I'll... Maybe I'll make it a different color. I'll use the color adjustment. Nope, not purple. I don't know what I can do. I can flip it. Yeah, that looks a little better. And okay. No, you know what? Okay, now I want a different background color, I think. Maybe red. Oh, I gotta do his belt still. Huh. Yeah, I gotta do his belt. Okay, that's gray. Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, now what do I want to do? It's already established the lights coming from the bottom. I shall do that. Gonna light him now. Because he's gone, gotta get some. He's getting affected by the explosions. So we get a lot of lighting from, from the explosions hitting them down below. So got to get that lighting in there. Okay. There we go. And put some lighting here. I think I'm going to change that background because I'm not digging it. Let's go back to blue. Okay, gotta throw in some shading because again, the light. I'm gonna do this really fast because I want to finish this quickly, and also because that's kind of a style for this promo piece. Turn it to blue there. Change the background to blue. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it to blue. Red's just too much of another color to add into the mix. Yeah, there we go. I think that matches a little bit better. And then I can also put in like a spray pattern in the back. And I think I'm almost done. Okay, let's give it a once over. And I'm almost, oh wait. Yeah, I gotta put in the goggles there. That's a little bit too much. Gotta make sure it stays uniform. See, I'm almost done. Oh, I think this needs to be light. Yeah. Yeah, light. Forgot this. Oh, wait. So I had to adjust my rotating hotkeys. It was set to UK. I do that sometimes accidentally. Okay. Yeah, I think this is almost pretty much done. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed, my first ever process video. More to come. Yeah, I wanted to do one of my character Atlas and intro you guys to him, and also practice for me to, practice at doing better intro vids or process vids, because yeah, I thought it would be kind of easy, but yeah, it was definitely a new kind of thing to draw and talk at the same time, and to try to get a point across. But yeah, each one will improve. Each one can I can get practice, so hopefully they get better. But yeah, okay. Here's my Atlas promo piece that I want to do a process shot of. Hope you guys liked it, and return for more, because I'd like to do all the other characters. I need to get promo pieces done for all the characters of in Triple Threat, all the main characters, and I think probably the next one I'll do is Inferno. But I'll also do I want to get into more how do I draw comic books type stuff as well, so doors for that too. But anyways, I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe if you do, and come follow along, check it out as I do the making of Triple Threat, as well as all kinds of other stuff, and also posting other things I'm interested in, which is still travel as well as other things. But anyways, everyone have a great week, and I'll catch you in the next video. And as they say all over Europe, let me click that off here. Here we go. As they say all over Europe, ciao.